Welcome everybody back to boostinmotion, guys, and today we're going to talk about the different heat exchangers on the market for the VR30 Q50 Q60 platform. Before I get into the video, guys, if you always watch my videos, always hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification, let's go. Wait guys, I don't want you to forget, also I'll put the eBay and Amazon links below so you can purchase these products directly and have them shipped to your house. So I appreciate that very much. Let's continue. Alright guys, so let's get right into it. Some of you guys are going to ask me, what is a heat exchanger? Heat exchanger pretty much is a small radiator for the cooling system for your turbos. Let me briefly explain. Our turbos, you have to raise the amount of boost, right? Now, you have to cool this air down because if you're raising boost, that makes the air hotter. We don't want too much heat going into the motor or really hot air because it goes boom, okay? So these heat exchangers, what they do is they transfer all that excessive heat into the coolant. And that coolant is then circled through a pump to the front radiator or this small heat exchanger that sits to the front. Now the one from factory is relatively small, but there's a few companies on the market that came up with bigger solutions for us to get it done. So let's jump into the different prices and pretty much what I would recommend. So let's jump right into it. Number one, we're going to start with the cheapest one on the market. This is more of a DIY kit. They did not make a specific heat exchanger for this car, but most people use these specific sizes. This company is called Frozen Boost. Pretty much a universal heat exchanger. Most people purchase this for about $150, $160, and they have to buy specific tabs and bolts, and they have to go to auto parts store, Advanced Auto Parts or AutoZone, wherever they choose to go and purchase a few coolant hoses and pretty much run it in line with the OEM or just replace the OEM completely. This is more of the DIY kit, and it's also the kit that gives you that front mount intercooler look. Alright, second kit is actually going to be two companies. I'll merge them into two. This one's going to be Berger Tuning Heat Exchanger. Now the reason why we're speaking about this one is they actually do make kits for us. They make a $300 kit and a $400 kit. Most people ask what's the difference? The difference is this. From Berger Tuning, Terry himself states that the 300 horsepower, the $300 version is made in China. So that's why it's cheaper to get, to manufacture. The $400 one is made in the USA. So that is the difference between the two. Now this cooling capacity of this one is slightly larger than the Frozen Boost, so the more coolant you have in the system for the heat exchangers, the more it's resistant to heat soak and it can do its job better. So let's move on to number three. Technically, that company in this case will be called PLM. They actually do make a bolt-on kit, and it doesn't, compared to the compared to the Berger Tuning and the Frozen Boost, this one actually sits closer to the radiator, such as the AMS and the Mishimoto. The Berger Tuning sits right more lower to the bottom grill, but you won't see it like a front mount look. So, it is what it is. But the PLM is pretty good because it has a huge surface area. Yes, it increased the amount of coolant capacity, but when you spread out the coolant in a larger amount of surface area, it's easier for the heat to transfer and to cool down the amount of coolant. A few people have installed this kit. It seems like it comes colored paint black or regular without the paint on it. I'm not too positive on if that's really good for it to actually have that thermal capacity or thermal coolant by adding paint. I wouldn't know. But this kit, that kit is right around high $400 to the market, and I think it's relatively affordable for what it could get done. Now, moving forward to number four. It's four because we're talking about different companies here, okay? Four would be Mishimoto. Now, you guys know Mishimoto have been in the game for a while. It seemed like they took a lot of their time to do their own testing. I respect their company very much for what they do. And their heat exchanger is very similar to PLM. I believe it may be a higher capacity, but I really can't find the proper figures. But if I do, I'll post it up on this video and you guys get to see the different capacities and dimensions. But once again, this is one that's close to the radiator or front condenser, and it has a huge surface area. And once again, it works really good. It cools down the amount of coolant really good, and that's mainly it. Because you guys are probably looking at me like, well, Boost, you're crazy. Like, so what is the difference of this? Honestly, guys, a good heat exchanger does two things. It has a huge surface area. It spreads out the coolant. And number two, it has a high capacity. That's what makes these heat exchangers good. Now, from the frozen boost to the Berger tuning, they're a lot smaller, less surface area, but they have a lot of coolant in a small amount of area, which is good. But they will be more prone to heat soak compared to the ones that have larger capacity and more surface area. So that leads us to the top dog, AMS. Now, we guys already know that they work with Infiniti, so you can actually have this part stolen in your car pretty much through Infiniti itself. You don't have to really deal with no warranty issues. Wink, 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 hopefully. And that one's right around the high $700s, $800 for this heat exchanger. Most people have purchased this because of a peace of mind. They want that peace of mind knowing that, hey, I don't have to worry about this. So let me just get it installed. They take care of it. No, I protect my warranty. But at $800, it's quite expensive. So some people are gonna look at me and say, well, Boost, well, is it much better than Mishimoto and PLM? Honestly, I don't have the, well, I would say the testing to give you guys, but just visually looking at something and knowing its dimensions and its cool capacity, you know. All of these heat exchangers are not dual pass. They all are one pass. So they come from one end and go to the other end. That's honestly it. So I would recommend whoever gives you the most amount of capacity of coolant, and second, the most amount of surface area. Those are the ones that's gonna work the best, okay? You guys gonna ask me next, which one is that? Honestly, guys, you know I'm a little cheap. I do have the Berger Tuning heat exchanger from a long time ago. I was one of the, I wasn't one of the first people, but they worked. That was a sponsored video, and they supported your boy, so that's why I went with them. But honestly, when you sit there and think about this one, you have to think about cooler capacity and price. PLM is doing pretty good, but I would go with the Mishimoto. I honestly would go with the Mishimoto. I think it's right at that good price with the amount of surface area. But if I had to do it again, some people may ask in this video too, because I'm gonna be fair. Oh, can you run 2 heat exchangers to increase the amount of cooling capacity? Because if you think about it, let's say you chose to purchase the PLM for $400 some and then buy the frozen boost for like $150, $160, you only spend like $700 and you increase your cooling capacity a whole lot. And plus you still get that front mount and a cooler look you might want to get. If I was to do it again, honestly, I would probably go with the Berger Tuning. I would go with the Berger Tuning 300 horsepower, $300 one, and I would go with the Mishimoto. Reason being is that's like $800, $900 in coolant and parts, but I get the most amount of surface area, I get the large amount of coolant capacity, and it makes it a little complex, but it also makes it a dual pass. So we'll go through one heat exchanger, cool, and then go through a second one and then cool. That is more resistant. That's if you guys want to do that, but we'll talk about that in a separate video, because if you don't got a red sport, it's going to be hard to move around all that coolant even with one water pump. But otherwise than that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, sorry for making it so long, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button with the bell notification, please, guys. That helps my channel out so much. You guys know I'm trying to send it this year. I'm trying to do a lot of big things, and I want to help you guys out so much. So otherwise than that, guys, I appreciate all you guys' help. You guys support me, support the channel so much. You can contact me on boostinmotion on Facebook, and boostinmotion@gmail.com. You know what about my merch, the Teespring account below. All the proceeds go to help me build this car and build my channel to give you guys the best content possible. Otherwise than that, guys, have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. Thank you, guys. You have a good day.